and podcast, opinionated debate on everything Borough. Let's have it.
Sandbox, do you even need that? No, man, there we go. No structures in. Yes, you'll see. Red Royal Boston has a finish, yeah. Kick it.
Good evening. Welcome to the 12-Man podcast. Live, uninterrupted, and ready to go. You got me, Steve Jackson, now in the main chair this evening. Mr. John Cutler's with me. Evening, Cut.
Evening, chaps.
How are we doing, all right?
Well, we'll talk about that, won't we?
Yeah, we will talk about that. Don't worry about that. Mr. Steve Dixon's with us. Evening, Dicko.
Evening, fellas. You okay?
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. You?
Yeah. Well, it's lashing down the rain. The Borough lost 3-0 and Tuba's leaving. So we've had better Mondays, but I'm sure we'll put that right over the next hour.
Aye, and you'll wake up tomorrow morning with a nice latte.
Let's hopefully.
I was going to say, if anyone's tuning in to be cheered up, you might be listening to the wrong show tonight. So it's a good look with that one.
Yeah, we'll give it a good go. I'm sure Mr. John Donovan will join us at some point. You'll hear his cheerful voice, his optimistic voice, anyway. But we'll get straight into it, shall we? Right. Saturday. I mean, let's start with a bit of positivity, shall we? We got through in the cup, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. I mean, let's be honest. They had made a lot of changes from the game the week before, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and you know we passed the ball about pretty well, scored a couple of decent goals, and happy to be through and on to Bolton away, which brings all back memories from possibly the greatest day I've ever had following this football club. So
same, mate, same. So. Yeah, it brings back memories, doesn't it? Second round trip to I was going to call it the Reebok. What's it called these days?
Well, I'll call it the Reebok.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm going to go the Reebok in the second round, end of August. So, Dicko, start with a bit of positivity. What did you think of the cup win?
Yes, just like you've said, it was nice to see a few goals go in the back of the net. It was nice to see Sammy Silveira burst on the scene with a nice goal, and as I say, it's a positive draw. It's a good draw. It's a draw that I think and would expect Middlesbrough to go through to the next round again. And then you start to get a little bit excitement back for the cups and the cup runs. So yeah, it was a positive win. And I know, like John's just said there, Huddersfield picked a second string, but psychologically it's still a good one to win with Huddersfield coming up on Saturday.
Exactly. And it gives you that sort of psychological edge as well, doesn't it, going into a game like that?
Yeah, definitely. And, hopefully we'll have one or two new faces for them on Saturday as well.
Oh, there's no hopefully. We absolutely need it. We really do need it now. Right, that's the positivity done. Get your comments and views in as we go along. That's as positive as I'm going to get, unfortunately. Right, so I got up quite early Saturday morning to make the trip down to Coventry. Again, fourth league meeting in 6?
Something like that.
Yeah, fourth league meeting in 6 games. Team came out while sat having a nice pint watching the Lionesses start their quarter final. I won't tell you what I thought of the team. I'll let you start. Dicko, what did you think of that starting lineup?
I was concerned as soon as I seen it, to be honest. I think Michael Carrick has missed a bit of a trick at the start of the season. I think with the shortcomings in the squad, he's sort of wanted to keep the formation from last season without actually having the personnel to do it. And like I said before the Millwall game, if you're an opposition manager playing against Middlesbrough, we've got huge weaknesses in both full-back positions that teams can exploit. And obviously we're missing a proper natural striker up front. And I think teams, when we're set up in the usual formation, fancy themselves, A, to contain the strike force, and B, to catch one the break in the full back positions. And after Millwall, I was hoping that Carrick might have changed these tactics, even if it was briefly, just for a game or two, just until we get a few bodies in the door. And I was hoping we might have went to a back three, perhaps, and maybe he's went with wing backs and Isaiah Jones on one side and McGree maybe he's on the other. And when I seen the lineup again against a good Coventry side, the same as Millwall the week before, were a decent Millwall side, I knew that Coventry would get at McNair, and I knew they'd get it at Coulson and exploit them. And although Middlesbrough had the moments in the game, you never felt comfortable like Middlesbrough were going to get anything from it. We had chances, but like I've said, we haven't got the firepower, and we missed the chances to take. So yeah, I was concerned with the starting lineup, and there was a few people sitting on the bench that I would like to have seen in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I like all that as well. But before I come to cuts and see what you thought of the team, evening, John Don.
Now then, you okay?
Yeah, we're good. Would you like to apologise
Sorry,
for
I
being
was
late?
a little bit late.
There we
Yeah,
go.
sorry, I was a touch. I had Hubert at the door, just crying his eyes out. I said, look, mate, now what I can do, deal's done. But anyway, I've sent him packing.
Did you not offer him a latte, John?
He wanted something stronger. He said, "Have you got any Jaeger left?" I said, "No." I was drunk every single drop of it.
Yep, Steve's had all that. Sorry. Actually, John, I'll start with you. What did you think of that lineup when we were sat in the pub, 11:30, waiting to get going again?
I was thinking that there was a couple of players that could have started that were named on the bench. I don't like Matt Crooks up top. I know he's done a job for us in the past, but I don't like him up top. Rodgers isn't a number 9. I just thought we were a little bit light.
Yeah. What did you think of the two, glaring omissions that were on the bench?
Well, yeah, like everybody else, I was a bit sort of like perplexed by it. And when I saw the lineup, I was thinking that I'd be happy to come away with a point, if I'm honest. So yeah, the selection didn't inspire me.
No, me. I mean, I was just at the bar getting my last drink before we went, and I saw the team, and it made me buy 4 more Jaegers. So cheers, Carrick. I've got a bad ankle now, so I can't walk properly because of the amount I drank Saturday. But I suppose that's not his fault. But Cuts, what did you think of the lineup?
Well, I messaged you lads when the team came out. I can understand Howson.
I don't remember
that. Yeah, well, I certainly did. I can understand Howson not being in. Maybe a bit of match fitness, and a bit of fitness. But for me, I couldn't understand McGree and Force being on the bench in what we all knew was going to be a really tough game. I understand Silvera starting because he looked bright in his cameo against Millwall and did really well against Huddersfield. But I mean, let's be honest, he's pretty much walked on water, Michael Carrick, since he's come into this football club. But I couldn't understand them two being on the bench at all.
Yeah, I feel like he made his first couple of mistakes Saturday. I mean, you can't. I'm not going to sit here and say you've got it massively wrong and you need to have a good look at yourself and things like that. But he got it wrong Saturday, didn't he? When you look at that 11, he got it wrong, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't listened to any interviews after the game. I don't know if maybe we're not privy to all the information. Maybe McGree had a little bit of a knock. I don't know, but like I say, I can't understand him being out of the team. He's a massive part in how we want to play football.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't understand Riley being out of the team, to be honest.
Privy. That's a posh word.
Privy.
There we go.
Don't sound so surprised.
I think what was more frustrating for me maybe the starting 11 wasn't what we all would have liked, and every manager has got the right to pick the team that he thinks is going to win the game on the day, whether we agree with it or not. But what frustrated me more was his hesitancy to do the substitutions at half time. For me, you had to change that. The same as against Millwall on Saturday. I'd like to see Michael Carrick change it up a little bit quicker when things aren't going our way. And I thought he waited far too long to make the substitutions to change the game. And I mean, the last substitutions he brought on, I think it was about 81 minutes when we're 2-0 down. And I thought that was a bit of an insult to bring McGree on 81 minutes at 2-0 down. I would just like to see Michael Carrick be a bit more on the front foot with these substitutions, and if it's not going right, have the the positive attitude to change it up a bit quicker.
I don't know if he came on after 81 minutes. I'd left by then. I won't lie to you. I was in the car park picking someone off the floor. So that was my But no, you're absolutely right. Go on, Coach.
I mean, one player we've talked about quite a lot in recent weeks is Piero. Now, after the 2 league games, if he didn't get any minutes at all on Saturday, when Barlaser is in ahead of him and Crooksy playing behind the striker, for me, Piero's not going to have a future at this football club for me. If he can't get any minutes after that on Saturday, where's he ever going to get minutes?
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, we were screaming out for a bit of creativity in the middle. I know before the Rodgers bashing starts, because I know that's coming, I thought he played really well in the second half, what I saw. The run he made in between, it must have been, 5 or 6 Coventry players, and he just put it just wide. I mean, you imagine if that goes in. If that goes in, that away end goes absolutely wild. And we're back in it, and the game might be different. And Silvera's chance, if that goes in, game's a bit different. But
I mean, you say about bashing Rodgers. I'm certainly not going to sit here and bash any player after 180 minutes of league football. No way. And anyone who does, I can't see where they're coming from.
Over to you, Deco.
No, to be honest with you, you might be surprised. I'm not. I don't think Rodgers is a bad player at all. I think he shows a lot of potential. What my gripe is playing him up front. He's not a striker, and he'll never be a striker for me. And I stick to what I said. If he played up front all season, he wouldn't get you more than 5 or 6 goals. But on Saturday, he showed his potential running from deep, like he just said. With that run he had, it could have been one of the goals of the season, and it showed you what he can actually do. Playing behind the striker, coming onto a ball, taking people on. And also for the Silvera chance, it was Rodgers again being sharp, taking the ball off the Coventry defender in the box and laying a superb ball to Silvera, who's got to score. So to me, he showed his strengths in that second half. And I'm sure once we get a couple of number 9s in before the window closes, his position will be out wide or behind the striker, and we'll be talking about how good he is.
Speak about a couple of number 9s there. Obviously, we've been linked with the lad from Atalanta. I saw a link this afternoon from someone had put it up on Twitter where a journalist or something had put that Middlesbrough and Leeds are interested in a permanent signing of Archer after they are now ready to sell him. Now, in today's market, surely he's worth around £20 million, right? So even if we knock £5 million off, there's no way I see us spending £15 million on a striker. As much as I would love to see that happen, because I think he's going to be a top player, and especially at this level he's proved last season. I don't see any way we spend anywhere near that kind of money on one player, never mind who it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Although if he did sign, I'd full on wet myself.
Well, that'd be great.
I'd full on wet. I'm not even joking with that either. Like, he is the missing piece.
I think we're a few pieces short to be fair, but to sign a player of that caliber is a real statement of intent.
Oh yeah.
Now, but like I say, I just don't see it happening. I don't know what you guys think, but I can't see us spending that on a player.
I'd love to see it happen. I really would, but I think that sailed as soon as he scored that goal in the Euros. I thought, well, that's that. He's not going to be in the Championship, I don't think, this season. I could be wrong, but I just can't see it.
Do you see it happening, Steve?
I don't, to be honest, but I would love it to, because I think it would massively jumpstart the season and give the fans all that excitement and buzz back again with a statement of intent, like you said. And I'd love to see we'll have a try. I mean, we don't know what Aston Villa are looking for. If the figure's nearer 10 million, then you don't know what they're asking for. If it's nearer 10 million, maybe Middlesbrough will have a double. But, I'll be happy if we can get the Lucas Engel deal over the line, Emmanuel Atialaf through the door this week. And we've been linked with Chris Willock from Queen's Park Rangers, who I think is an exciting, talented player. And I would like to see him come to the football club if he's available.
Yeah,
I think that would be a huge boost to me as a Middlesbrough fan. And as I say, Cameron Archer, that would be an absolutely amazing signing. But unless it's nearer the 10 million mark, I can't see it happening, if I'm being brutally honest.
I agree with you on Willock. Every time I see him play for QPR when he's played against us, I think he's been a really good player.
I rips us a bit.
Aye. Plus, I think as well, the fact that his brother only plays up the road.
Yeah.
You talk about players leaving London, all the flashy lights and whatever they claim, to come to the northeast. I think it'd be a big pull for him that his brother's literally an hour down the road.
The flashy lights.
That's the one.
Whereabouts in London is he living?
There's flashy lights in London everywhere you look. Look at the millions of pounds they're spending, but that's another topic for a different podcast. But yeah, let's get Willock in anyway.
Exactly. Let's get Willock in if we can. I mean, why not? While you were gone, John Don, it's good to have you back. We were discussing the impact of Rodgers on Saturday. What did you think of his impact in the second, especially in the second half? I didn't think first half he was up to much.
Well, first of all, I hope I'm not breaking up like I was earlier. But
no, you are coming through loud and clear.
Right. Good, you lads tell me. Before I go on to Rodgers, I just want to talk really about the game itself and stuff that I've read on social media. Now, Carrick said he didn't think it was a 3-0, and I totally agree with him. I think in our WhatsApp group, I said to you, I didn't feel like it was a 3-0. We didn't have the rub of the green. We weren't great. I'm not going to sort of try and powder coat it. We weren't good. But I didn't think we deserved to get beat 3-0. They were fortunate with the first goal, fortunate with the third, and slack marking for the second. But at 1-0, we came out and we had a 20-odd minute spell in the second half when I thought we were really good. And we missed gilt-edged chances. And that's not having a recognised centre forward, a goal getter in our lineup. I mean, Chuba would have got on the score sheet easily against Coventry. So yeah, I've read all sorts. The club's falling apart. Gibson needs to go. This, that, and the other. What's Carrick doing? But come on, it's 2 games. We were playing players out of position. We were playing players coming back from injury. We'll get back into this. We will get back into this. I'm not happy that we haven't got a point on the board, and I'm not trying to gloss over that fact. But come on, a bit of common sense, a little bit of perspective. Last season, we done really, really well since after Carrick took over. And I think we all maybe are feeding on that level of performance that we put in last season. We haven't got there yet, but there's no reason why we can't. If we get the right personnel in and we start to click as a team, we're not that far away. And I just think we need to be much more patient as fans.
I think one of my mates made a really good point last night, actually, when I seen him. If you take the 4 loan players that we haven't got anymore, so Stefan, Giles, Ramsey, Archer, and then no Chuba, that's almost, £60 million worth of talent from last season's team to this season's team that as yet haven't been replaced. It's a lot for the Championship. That teams have got, like John says, a little bit of perspective. we all after last season were thinking playoffs if we can get the right players in. But like I say, £60 million worth of talent at least that are not playing for this football club that were playing last season.
John, you
that's it.
mentioned five. You mentioned five players there. Add Howson out of that, who came on as sub. He hasn't started yet. Tommy Smith. There's 7 players, from that team that give us such a good run last season. 7 players missing from your starting 11. Hell of a lot, you know. And I know the argument is, well, why haven't the club got players in? We've had this discussion on the podcast. It's probably easy to get players in, but it's more difficult to get the players of the quality that you want to come in. Hopefully, we can do that, and we'll get that as the end of the window approaches. And yes, it may mean that we need to play catch up a little bit, but I'd rather pay the right money for the right players than just go out and get anybody to plug the gaps at the moment. So, as disappointed as I am with no goals, no points, I'm not going to, there's no alarm bells ringing where I am. I'm quite calm about it, in the hope that, well, we will improve, we can improve, and we still plenty of time to push ourselves up to the top end of the table.
We've got a couple of Facebook comments in. Mark Sewell says, any news on these signings, fellas? Well, I think we know as much as you, Mark. The Gazette seemed pretty confident that 2 were probably going to get over the line.
All I'll say is make sure you get yourself a latte in the morning. That's all I'm saying.
That's 3 times that pun's been used.
I'm going to keep using it. I'm proud of that.
Mandy Blake.
He's full of beans, isn't he?
Mandy Blake
Full
has
of
put
summers.
Archer's never worth 20 million. Colin Fryatt has put notice teams even outside the Premiership top 6 haven't put any bids in for Archer. So, yep. And Colin Fryatt, Jones crossing is atrocious. Do these coaches actually work on him during training? Well, I would imagine they do, Colin.
And that's you told Colin. There you go.
No, not at all.
I just like to go back on what JD was saying, and I'm going to actually agree with what he said, just because I'm on the other side of the fence, as John knows.
I feel like I need a siren, and you feel like I need a siren.
Yeah, no. I just because
you need a warning button. Yeah,
I've been on the podcast the last 2 weeks saying the complete opposite to John. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to go over it again, but I'm not a fan of the club strategy, as John said, in terms of waiting for the right players and letting the points go down to Swanee. At the end of the day, we're bottom of the league. We haven't scored a goal, right? I would rather, we'll push to get players in earlier and done with business earlier. But I actually agree with John. There's no point going over our old ground now as Middlesbrough supporters. The club are trying. We know they're trying to get players in. We're going to hopefully get 2 in this week. And, if we beat Huddersfield on Saturday, that could, ignite the season a little bit. We've got another good home game coming up against QPR in a couple of weeks, which is a winnable one. And as supporters, it is what it is. We've got to back the club. They are trying. As I say, I'm not a fan of this strategy, but that's the strategy they're going down. It nearly paid off last season. And last season was started off about 17, 18 games in until Carrick came in and he nearly did it. We're only 2 games in now. So if we can get some players in this week and beat Huddersfield and we get 3 points on the board and we're 3 games in, we're still in a much stronger position probably than last season. So I think that's a positive for what to think about as Middlesbrough supporters. There's no point, like I've seen the same as John on, social media, fans going a little bit over the top on certain things. I'm going to jump in the goalkeeping union position again, because I've seen, like last season when Zach Steffen was getting stick and I jumped to his defence, I'm going to do the same for Senny Dieng. I've heard people having a pop that Steffen's gone now and he's conceded 4 goals, Senny Dieng. I think Senny Dieng, the first 2 games, has shown exactly how good he is. He's been superb with his feet, commanding. And what I liked on Saturday the most was he was having a go at his defenders, calling them out, shouting at them, having a right pop. And that was good to see, because I think Middlesbrough need a few more players in the starting 11 who are going to start pointing the finger like Darragh Lenihan does and now Senny Dieng does. So that was a positive for me. So you know, it's not all doom and gloom. Middlesbrough have got some positivity this season as well.
Daniel
Thanks,
Preston's lad is going to cost us a fortune. So yeah, the puns keep coming in.
Yeah, like Dicko, I appreciate you. You sort of like agreeing with me. Bit of a surprise, but there you go. But I don't think that Dieng was at fault for any of the goals we've conceded at all this season. I was quite impressed with him on Saturday.
Yeah,
I know it's difficult to say from a 3-0 defeat, but he was comfortable in everything he done. Like you said, first and third goal deflection. The third goal, a deflected shot fell to an unmarked man, knocked it in. The second goal from the corner, again, ball hit through a crowd of players. He couldn't do anything about it. But other than that, I just thought he commanded his box quite well, and he looks confident. You know, I remember Zach Steffen didn't start off last season particularly well. He had a difficult game away to QPR. And there was questions asked. You know, I don't know whether he'll reach the same level as Zach Steffen, but the fact of the matter is he's not done anything wrong so far. He's our player. He's not on loan. We get behind him.
Yeah, Richard Baines has messaged in. Couldn't agree more about Dieng. I mean, I've not really seen any criticism of Dieng, to be honest, and I wouldn't see why anyone would criticise him because I don't think he's particularly done anything wrong in the 2 league games.
Definitely not.
I think he's got the potential to be better than Stefan. What I've seen so far, he looks more commanding for me. Like you said there, JD. When Stefan came in, he was a bit shaky. He was a bit unsure about being the commanding one in the box. But Dieng looks like he's got the authority already. As I say, I'd challenge anyone to come on and say what he's done wrong with them 4 goals so far. Because honestly, there's nothing he could have done for him for me. As I say, he's just bang unlucky. And you've got to look at the players in front of him, unfortunately. And I say that's where our season is. I say the 3 goals we conceded Saturday. I mean, 2 deflections and 1 really badly defended corner. Really badly defended.
I mean, we had the same possession as Coventry on Saturday. We had the same amount of corners as Coventry. We had more shots on goal than Coventry. And it is, you know, as John said earlier, it wasn't a 3-0 game. Did Middlesbrough play well? No. Did Middlesbrough deserve to win the game? No. But there was a spell from half time until Coventry scored the second goal on 70 minutes, where Middlesbrough looked a better side and more likely to score. And if we had scored with Silveira, I think Middlesbrough would have got something from the game as well.
Yeah, as I say, that chance straight away in the second half was the big one. That was the big one for me. As soon as we missed that, that was the one to get back in the game straight away and put them on the back foot. But
did anybody hear the Sky Sports commentary? I watched the match back with Don Goodman.
I've not watched it back. No, I'll fully admit that one.
I thought we were playing prime Brazil 1970 and not Coventry. He waxed lyrical about Coventry and how poor Middlesbrough were for the entire game, and he was talking about Middlesbrough could have been 6 or 7 down at one point. Absolutely delusional commentary. It was ridiculous.
I was going to say I'd challenge him on the 6 or 7 like straight away. I don't think they had 6 or 7 chances, did they?
Oh, it was incredible biases. I don't know why he was biased to Coventry, but
he's from that part of the world, and let's face it. I mean, I spoke to a guy last night that called us Middlesbrough for 20 minutes. So you know, it's like, you know, I can't. Yeah, it's that part of the world. I'm not a fan of that part of the world. I've been there too many times now for the past few months, and I don't want to go back for a while. But have we got any positives from Saturday? Like, is there any positives? I mean, don't all jump up at once with this one.
Yeah,
no.
there was for me. There was that spell where we dominated the game. Like I say, if we'd have got back to 1-1, it could have been a totally different outcome. You know, we might not have gone on to lose the game. So I thought during that spell, we kept the ball well. We created chances. We just failed to put them away. Dieng, I was pleased with his performance. You know, you can't just walk away from games, and if it doesn't go your way, say we were SH1T, there's got to be levels of performance. We were poor in spells, and we were very good in spells, in my opinion, and I'll stick to that. And I look at the spell that we were good, and that we could have got back into the game. And I think, do that for longer periods in games, especially at home when we've got the crowd behind us, and we'll win eventually. We'll get the points, and once you get the first points on the board, it's a big boost. I mean, like I say, if we beat Huddersfield Saturday, it's 3 points from 3 games, puts us just below mid-table, and it takes the heat off, really. So yeah, that's a positive I'm taking away from there.
SH1T. I'm never going to forget that.
Well, you said we can't swear, so
well, yeah. I mean,
so,
yeah, you're right. That's a great abbreviation. I'm taking that. There you go. There's one positive. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, Sunderland got beat again. Yeah, they did. Absolutely right. Took 5,500 out of Preston and came out with nothing.
Timmy Leach has put, it's going to be a nervous couple of weeks till that window closes. For me, the window should close before the season starts. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
That's a fair point, yeah.
And our man behind the wheel, young Jason, evening J-Dog, positives, Rogers' run, Colburn's return, and the journey down and back. It was good. Like, I've got to admit, I did have a cracking day on Saturday. It was good. But
I think for me, the positives about Saturday is there's still 44 games to go.
Exactly. There's 44 games to go, 44 games to put it right, and the possibility of 132 points on the table. So, it's not over until, I was going to say the fat lady sings, but I might offend someone saying that. So, but I'll go with your man of the matches. Dicko, I'll start with you.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not giving one. It's a 3-0 defeat. I don't think anybody played at a level that was worthy of a man of the match award. I thought there was some, like John said, Senny Dieng was steady in his performance and what he did. There was a couple of good moments in the game, but I don't think anybody really in a Middlesbrough shirt was worthy of a man of the match for me.
Cracking start.
Just being honest.
I'll give it to Dicko for agreeing with me for once. No, I'll give it to Senny Dieng. Strange decision, I suppose, in a 3-0 defeat. But I just thought, he couldn't have done anything about the goals, really. And it looked as though he's getting the grips with the defenders. Like Dicko said earlier, he's not afraid, considering he's just new into the club. He's not afraid to sort of point fingers at experienced players and tell them, where they're going wrong. So I'll give it to Didier.
Okay. Cut.
Well, I feel like everyone's agreeing with each other, and I'm agreeing with Dick. I can't give him on the match for Saturday.
You're a barrel of laughs, you two. I'm going to give it to the fans. I'm going to give it to the fans. I mean, Jonathan, what time did you get up Saturday morning?
I got up at about 5:45.
Snap. I was up at 5:45.
You didn't get up together, did you?
Well,
questions have been asked, but no, not on this occasion.
On this occasion, Jesus, there's rumours starting. But that's what I'm going to give the man of the match too. Them fans that got themselves out of bed. It was a really early start Saturday. Got down there, and they were in good voice. We were in good voice in the stands. I know it went a bit flat after they scored, and as you'd expect, but there was no. Well, around me there was no massive negativity. Obviously, there was the usual. He should be doing that, and he should be doing that. And then when Rodgers put out for a goal kick, I felt like giving up. But we didn't, and we kept going. And not a lot of people walked out. I mean, I was still outside from 70 minutes, and not a lot of people walked out. I thought I can absolutely vouch for that. There wasn't many people that came out. So credit to the fans that spent their hard-earned money and got
So,
themselves down there.
Jacko,
Yeah.
Jacko, you said you don't want to go down that neck of the woods anytime soon. So am I scribbling your name off the list for West Brom?
It's a different part of the Midlands, John. Don't start with that.
It's the Midlands. What's the matter with you?
The Midlands is massive. I'm not
I
going
know
full
it
on.
is.
I'm not going full on geography with you. All right. Do not scribble my name off that list.
Right, okay, then you're still on.
Thank God. Jack Dobson still feel absolutely atrocious from Saturday. Yeah, snap. Absolutely. Man of the match, the owner of the pub. Oh, well done, Jace.
It is a cracking pub, that, to be fair.
It's a good pub, to be fair.
One of the best ones we go to. It's great.
He is. They say compliments to the owners as well. They were absolutely spot on with us and looked after us really well. And I was going to say I look forward to going there again, but I really don't. I'm sorry.
I'm amazed we didn't get him in the League Cup, to be honest.
Can you imagine if we did?
Well, we might do if when the draws amalgamate, North and South.
No, they won't because they got beat by Wimbledon.
Well, that's fair enough. Then we won't.
So we can forget about that for a year. They're gone. Scratch them off. But there you go. There's our roundup of Coventry. So transfers. We haven't talked about transfers for a while, have we? But I feel like this is a good opportunity because a lot's happened. I'd say in the last week. There's a lot of coffee-related jokes flying about. So you can probably guess that. What's Cuts? I'll let you say his name.
Latte.
Is that his full name?
Latte. Is it Lav? Lav? Lat?
Yeah,
Latte Lat?
Emmanuel Latielaf.
there you go.
Someone put up earlier that they think Latte will be really good in the cups.
Oh, very good.
I can't remember his name now. He's too high up. But yeah, congratulations on that one.
Well done, Paul Holmes. That was very, very good. Yeah, he looks like he's on his way. Engels as well. We were obviously chatting before we came on air. Apparently, he's followed Middlesbrough and then unfollowed us straight away, which was a bit weird. In fact, but fans have already picked up on it. So, he's So it looks like he's on his way. We mentioned Archer, obviously. John Don, we didn't get your opinion on Archer. Obviously, you cut out for a little bit on that. But what £10 million looks like the fee that's being bandied about? Is that cheap to you? Is that expensive? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, right, okay. Do you think he's a better forward than Ellis Sims?
Yes.
Well, therefore, his value for money.
How much was Ellis Sims?
Ellis Sims was about 7 or 8 million, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh God. Another guy that came on was they bought him for 10.
Haji Wright.
Haji Wright,
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. No, but you know, a young striker, done well for his last season, done well for Preston the season before. If he can come here, get us the goals that pushes up the table, gets us into playoffs, earns us more money, and eventually, if we get into the Prem, earns us shed loads of money, then it's value. But like I say, I mean, you look at some of the fees going around for players, and I think £10 million is all right. It's good, and if we can structure that deal over a number of seasons, like most transfer deals are done, then we can afford it. So yeah, I think it's a good deal, 10 million, if that's the figure.
Like we discussed earlier, John, when you were in and out, and I'd be amazed if we get him for £10 million. There'd have to be a lot going on in the deal of percentage add-ons and all that in the future, but I think he's worth more than that. And we discussed, do we think the club would actually spend between 10 and 15 million pounds on one player? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they would personally, no. I mean, you talk about transfer fees and you look at the fee that we're getting for Akpom. Different sources say 11 million add-ons, 13 million plus add-ons, 15 million. That's in euros. You know, which equates to something like 9 million up to 12 or whatever pounds. And you think that's fairly cheap for a striker who's 27, 28, who's banged in 29 goals last season. But that was an exceptional season. And he got that because he was in a good team who were creating boatloads of chances with the players we had in at the time. He might not do it again. We don't know. I'd still like him to be here. But 29 goals has allowed us and allowed him to look elsewhere. He's got a move that he's keen on. He'll get the wage increase. He's got a 4 or 5 year contract, I'm led to believe. We couldn't have really afforded that. So when it comes to value, because he was in the last year of his contract, his price dropped. 15 million, I think, would be a lot to pay for Archer. 10 million, I think, is quite good if we can structure the deal well.
I mean, we're talking about Akpom there. I know he's probably going to be a bit busy to listen to us for chatting about him on here, but this time last season, we'd have all sold him for a bag of balls. But I'd just like to thank him for what he brought to the club last season. His interviews were great. His goal scoring was great. And he really bought into what Carrick was trying to do. So, yeah, he gave me a very enjoyable season. And as we all know, it's been a long time since we had a 20-plus goal season scorer. Let's hope it's not as long until we have another one.
Carrick's been the only manager who's managed to talk to him about where he feels is his best position. So he accommodated that, and he rewarded that with 29 goals. But if you look at his scoring record before then, it's been quite poor, apart from 1 year in Greece where he got like 14 or 15 goals, something like that. So he hasn't really sort of been prolific on a regular basis. So is it the time to cash in on him? Possibly. But also, he's looking after his own future, and I'm not going to deny him that. And I'll just echo what you just said there, John. Good luck to him. I've really enjoyed watching him play for Middlesbrough. Great memories. Best of luck.
Spot on.
Colin Fry's put a good name in the mix there. Pirro at Swansea. Apparently he's in his last year of his contract.
He's absolutely nicked my thunder there, because I was about to say, has anybody got any alternatives to Archer? And my first name was Joel Pirro.
Every time I've seen him play, he's been a decent player. I think
I said to a few of the lads at the back of the bus on Saturday, Joel Pirro, I think he's brilliant. I really do. And I think he could fit in very well to this sort of system. You know, he already plays it at Swansea. I
mean, the perfect player for me is the one that I wanted us to get last season, but he banged in already, 3 goals already at Southampton. Armstrong, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we aren't getting him.
No.
Nah.
He would have been perfect for us.
Especially when you've got Che Adams getting sold as well by Southampton. He's about to leave as well. So he's their main man though, isn't he? You know, he's their number 9, and he will be for the rest of the season. So yeah, forget that. Yeah, we can forget that one. But Joe Pirro, I think, is a great shout. I say was he their top scorer last season as well?
Not too sure, but like I say, he's looked a decent player when I've seen him.
Why don't you know?
I'm not. You're the stats man.
I can confirm he was. But go on, Dick.
I was just going to say the one thing why I would be cautious about we're looking to re-sign Cameron Archer is the signing of Emmanuel Latiolaf, because I've watched these highlights and stuff, and he's a very, very similar player to Cameron Archer. He's quick. He likes the ball over the shoulder, in behind. He can run the channels. He can play wide. He's strong. And he's a very, very similar player. And I'm not sure, you know, we're not buying Lath for peanuts. He's going to be about £5 million. And he's not coming to Middlesbrough to play second fiddle to Cameron Archer. He'll be coming to Middlesbrough to be the main man himself. I mean, he's bagged in 16 goals last season, albeit in Switzerland on loan, but he's a goal scorer. He's a talented player. And that's why I'm a little bit, I don't know if we're in for Archer or not, because as I say, we're signing a real similar player there for £5 million who's going to come to try and be the main man himself. That's why I would probably think the links to Willock are probably nearer the mark than the links to Archer.
That is the first time this year I've heard you say "why I." give me a giggle anyway. But no, you're absolutely right. If you haven't seen Emmanuel Latiolaf as well, he actually scored in England for Atalanta at Bournemouth. couple of weeks ago. Bournemouth played them in their, I think it was their last pre-season friendly before their season started. And he scored as well.
I think he's a player that will excite the Middlesbrough fans when they see him, because he really is rapid. He's quick. As I say, he likes to run the channels. He's got an eye for goal. He's got quick feet, and I think the Middlesbrough fans, when they actually see him, if we get him over the line tomorrow, I think he'll be an exciting player for.
Yeah.
Well,
go on, John.
I noticed that there's always criticism of Borough saying that we sign players who scored against us. Well, when he was in Greece, Akpom scored against Ajax in a Champions League qualifier. So maybe it's not just Middlesbrough who have that sort of trait of signing players who scored against them.
Well, I wish we did. I wish we did, because that player that scored for Millwall, I wouldn't mind him playing for us. He looked a right player in. Is it Esse? Yeah, what a player he was. Yeah. Wouldn't mind him playing for us, but obviously we're not going to use that. Another comment here before we start on Huddersfield. Jason's popped back up. It must be his night off. Will Archie be another Bamford if he came back? He was perfect first time round, 18, 19 goals, Championship player of the season. Second season, he wasn't great, Bamford. He wasn't, was he? The second time he came back, he wasn't brilliant.
I think that was more to do with Tony Pulis style football, wasn't it?
That's why he left as well, wasn't it, this versus?
I think Bamford under a different manager would have been fine second time. I mean, he left Middlesbrough, went to Leeds and got an England squad. So that tells you it wasn't a problem with the player. It was more Middlesbrough being the problem at that time.
And it tells me that Gareth Southgate's got a problem, because Patrick Bamford should be nowhere near the England squad. Sorry. But that's just my opinion. Should we talk about Huddersfield Saturday? Let's. I'll start with you then. There's obviously two glaring names on the bench that missed out on Saturday. Would you bring them straight back in?
100%. I'd bring three of them in.
Oh, name the third.
Force, Howson and McGree.
Oh, I was talking about Force and McGree. I haven't really thought about Howson fully fit yet.
I get Howson back in. He's had a couple of weeks training. You get him back in Saturday home game. Get 3 points on the board. A couple of signings in. All the doom and gloom's gone. We're all buzzing next week and talking about promotion again. Simple.
If there's no number 9 coming by Saturday, do you play Colburn?
No, I'd play Force centre forward.
Oh, and who would you put on the wings?
Well, I've got numerous players you can play on the wings. Silvera, you've got Isaiah Jones, Rodgers. You could try out wide. You know, we've got plenty of options with wide players. But I'd play Force centre forward if we don't get Lat over the line, and even if we do tomorrow, I'm not convinced he will start on Saturday. I think the fullback might, but I don't think the centre forward will.
Yeah, I think the fullback's a must, isn't it? Let's face it. You know, they are must positions now.
Mm-hmm.
I know goals win you games, but stopping on the other end puts you halfway there. So, John, in agreement? Would you make any alterations?
Yes, I would. I would like to see Force start the game. I hope Howson's fit enough to start the game. He I think he settles Hackney down. You know, him and Balassa have done okay, but I just think the Howson Hackney combination is a really strong one. So I'd like to see Howson in, and McGree to start. And if we've got both signings over the line, I would start Lath as well. That's a Lath. I would start him. I would have. I would. Yeah. Why not? Why not start him? The guy's going to be fit. He's had his own pre-season, and let him hit the ground running. Let him get a welcome to the Riverside with sort of 28,000 fans, 26,000 fans, whatever it's going to be, shouting and screaming for him to do well in his debut. Let's do it.
Exactly. No, I can see where you're coming from with that. There's no better way to get yourself stuck into English football than starting a home debut. That's always a good one. Dicko, what about you?
agree with the boys again. Changes are needed. Howson would be in my team. Barlasser again, flattered to deceive for me. Hasn't took his chance again. I would get Johnny Howson in alongside Hackney. That's worked so well for us last season. And it's another leader on the pitch. So, like we mentioned, Dieng and Lenihan being a leader. It's another leader in the starting 11 and Johnny Howson. I would have both new signings if they're available in. We're desperate for the left back. And I would start Latte Alaf because he's fit. He's had a pre-season, like John said. And also, against Huddersfield, it's that unknown quantity. They don't know him. They haven't played against him before. They don't know what he's going to do. So I would have him in for that as well. I would have McGree in on the left, and I'd have Marcus Force in his position that was successful with last season on the right, and really get at Huddersfield and get the fans. Because I think the fans, if they see a couple of new faces on the side, it'll be a bit more up for it and a bit more hopeful, because the first 2 games of the season, I think the fans have almost expected with the struggle, where I think if we go into Saturday's game with a couple of new signings, I think the fans will demand that we'll get the 3 points. So yeah, changes for me, and I think that will be a real decent 11, capable of beating quite a few teams in the league.
So does Vandenberg come in on Saturday for Paddy?
I would say yes.
I would go no. It's the first time I'm disagreeing with John. Not that I would mind if they brought him in, but I think if we're going to bring back in the number of players that we've just mentioned that we all agree with, I wouldn't go too far with the changes, because once you start changing 7, 8 players, it's a huge transformation of the starting 11. And you're changing your left back, and you're bringing Howson in and Force in and McGree in. The changes start to add up. So I would maybe hold back on that one, not because of the player, just because of the number of changes.
I would play Vandenberg on Saturday, like. For you, Steve?
Yeah, I would. He's not done a great deal wrong, but he hasn't done a great deal right, McNair. I think that's the problem. I don't think his natural position is right back anymore. The right side of a 3, yeah, absolutely. I've seen him do it before, and he'd probably do it again if needs be. But I just think a bit of fresher legs on that right hand side. It's nothing bad against McNair. It's nothing, against what he does. But I just think something a bit more fresh. And honestly, if we don't have a number 9 in by side, I'd have Coburn up front. I really would.
Yeah,
I think he's a
couple of people said that on there. Jason and Jacob both said that they'd start Coburn on Saturday.
I honestly think, I know he's probably going to end up out on loan by the end of the month. I think he's one of the best finishers at the club. I really do. I think he's brilliant.
He should have been on earlier on Saturday, shouldn't he? Let's be honest.
Massively. If we're going to play with that target man role, I think he's perfect. I really do think he's perfect for that role, and he showed it even in the bigger games a couple of seasons ago. Obviously, nothing bigger than a last 16 tie at home at Tottenham in the cup. That's a huge game for a young lad to come into, and he excelled. He was brilliant, and you know what I mean. That was. Yeah, that for me, I'd put him in. I really would put him in. If he's still here, put him in, because I think he's brilliant. And we've got enough on the wings to get the ball in the box for him, because that's what he thrives on as well. Balls in the box, up in the air, to your feet. Doesn't matter, you'll get at it. So,
I mean, if Howson's not fit enough to start on Saturday, I'd move McNair into midfield and drop Barlaser.
I don't think Barlaser was bad on Saturday, No. I thought he was all right.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I don't see a lot that he did wrong Saturday. I really don't. I thought he was all right. I don't feel the goals were from his part of the pitch. I say like the deflection. There's nothing to do about that. The deflection for the third, nothing to do about that. And the second, well, that's everyone that was in the box, wasn't it? Let's face it.
But he's not having an impact on the game. That's the problem. He's not changing the game. He's not a driving force in midfield. Like I said a few weeks ago, he's not contributing enough to his game. He's not getting the assists. He's not getting the goals. He's not having shots on goal. He's not driving on.
I thought a few passes he made Saturday, he was breaking their midfield up, and he got the ball through. I thought there was a few occasions where he did make a difference, and I thought, we're starting to see a little bit of what he's about. And And he showed that against Huddersfield as well in the cup. You know, the pass he made across over the top to Silvera was fantastic, unbelievable. He's starting to show it a little bit, but I mean, if you're going to put Howson back in, then yeah, he's obviously the one that's going to drop out. I wouldn't. Someone has popped up and said Hackney out. But I can't drop Hackney at the moment. I thought, yeah, I can't. Anybody can make a case for that if they want to, but I can't.
No. I wouldn't drop Hackney, to be honest. I mean, to be fair, he said he's struggled the end of last season and the first 2 games this season, but we haven't got players capable of coming in ahead of him, and I don't think he's been worse than Barlaser or Barlasser or whatever you want to call him.
I think Hackney's a better player with Howson on side and guiding him, talking to him during the game. So, you know, he wasn't outstanding. He didn't have a good game on Saturday, Hackney, but he was still trying right till the end to try and make something happen. So no, not for me. I think Hackney deserves to keep his place.
I put McGree in the middle. I don't see the point in putting McGree in there. Let him see everything in front of him. I know he plays on the left most of this time, but just let him see everything in front of him. I think he enjoys that role. He's
certainly got the legs.
Of course he has. He absolutely does. I completely agree with you on that one. But right, we're getting towards the end part of our show, the sad part where we say goodbye to you. But before we go, supposed to be our predictions in for Saturday.
So just before we do, I know the listeners love to listen. The update on the funds.
If they're listening, they'd love to listen.
The update on the funds for the charity is a grand total of £0 at the moment. So hopefully we'll get it right this week.
We were so close, though. We were close at Huddersfield.
It took
a 6'9" basketball player to stop that one.
What you mean is I was close. You 3 weren't, but I was.
Well, I weren't. Man was on after 3 minutes. I said 0-0. So, but no, you're absolutely right. Go on. Since you bigged yourself so much, go on. You first.
I'm pretty confident for Saturday, and that will show in our first winning bet of the season of Force 4-0.
His number generator's back, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Wow. Force 4-0. Jesus. John Don?
3-1, Borough. Do you want a first goal scorer?
We do.
I would love one.
McGree.
Okay. That seems more sensible. 4-0. Dicko?
John Donovan wants to record this show for the rest of the season and keep winding it back and rewatching it because I've agreed with him again. I'm going 3-1 Borough, but I'm going for a debut goal, first goal for Latte Lath.
What if he doesn't sign?
It won't be a debut goal for Latte Lath.
It'll just go on 3-1 then, won't it?
But you can't. What if he doesn't sign? You can't put him in a scorecast. So
no, well, let's go on 3-1. It'll be.
I'll
fine,
take the 3-1 if he doesn't start, but I think he will.
Okay.
If he doesn't start, we'll last goal.
Me, I'm gonna go 3-0.
So he laughs about my numbers predicting. He's only 1 goal different. Who's scoring first? Who's scoring first?
Dale Fry.
Oh, that'll be a belt of that.
Dale Fry, 4-0.
3-0, you said?
Oh, 3-0. You've got me saying 4-0 now. 3-0. Yes. So, yeah, Dale Fry, 3-0, whatever price that'll be. We'll get him 1-0 down Hickton to score. Brilliant. I presume he means 1-0 town. Who's Hickton?
Colin Fry's going for 2-1. Jacob, 0-0 Saturday for me. Right, might as well all stop at home then.
Nice one, is that Jacob. Our Jacob? Is that Jacob up the
yes,
show?
It is. Yes, that's our Jacob.
That's not like him to be negative. No,
of course he's not. But yes, good lads, well done. But
class.
On that note,
did he not see McGree to be sent off?
Don't start with him. he's not started on McGree yet, but yeah. On that note, I'm stopping it now. I'll stop it now. Yeah, see another 3-1 Borough. There you go. Right, gentlemen, thank you two for popping on. I'll see you both on Saturday. 2-1 McGree to score first. Jason's usually right most of the time, to be fair. Cuts, thank you so much for coming in.
No, pleasure as always.
And I'll leave you with this. Thank you so much. Up the Borough. Be seeing you.
Up the Borough.
Up the Borough, boys.
Thank you for listening to the 12th Man podcast. Hope to see you all again next week. Up the Borough.